It's 20 degrees outside in Florida, which I recognize is um, probably warmer than most of the country. The rest of the country is in negative whatever, but it has been 40 degrees here all week, which has been awful for me, a person who hates the cold and lives in Florida for a reason. But it is particularly cold today and tomorrow. Sunflower. Come here. Thought I would set myself up for kind of a cozy reading day. I have a fire going on my TV. It's one of those YouTube loops that just plays the crackling fireplace that you use at Christmas time. I have some candles going, and I figured that I would spend some time reading this book that I have been trying to read for years called 1,000 Miles. And it is about two characters, Ben and Dee, who were high school sweethearts, and they just broke up after high school or some inciting event. I started reading this book however many months ago and then just dropped it, so I don't remember the exact inciting incident of the breakup, but Ben's grandmother passed away. He has to drive to Colorado to, I don't know, presumably put together her estate or whatever, clean out her house. And Ben is dealing with some other personal blah blah that's going on in his life. Dee runs a podcast where she talks about everything except her ex. And so, of course, the two of them are on a road trip together, and it's great. I love a good road trip book. This reminds me so much of Mrs. Nash's Ashes. And there's another book called Here We Go Again, which is also a road trip book. I think what I'm realizing is that I just want to go on a road trip as opposed to continue to read books about road trips. But for the time being, I'm going to continue reading road trip books. And inevitably, it's always teachers in these road trip books because, of course, they have the summer off. So, like, there's a good, like, plot foil there for them going on a road trip. But this is just something I'm noticing. You take a bath. But one of the things that made me want to put together kind of a cozy vlog type thing, and in theory you're not supposed to voice over these, but I like talking and the internet likes listening, so but one of the things that kind of had me do this was that I came across a YouTuber that I used to follow many years ago, and the passage of time has gone from me following her when she had itty-bitty kids, and now, of course, her children have grown up, and they're now in middle and high school, and it's so weird to think about. But I suppose that is different for no one, because I started following her vlogs and her whatever when I was in college, and now I'm in my 30s, so, like, the passage of time happens to everybody. It's not like this thing that just happened to her. But I went and watched one of her old vlogs, and it was just so comforting to have, like, a person talking at me. Okay, I have to talk about this exchange. It's almost dinner time. She looks at the clock in the dashboard. You eat dinner at 5:15 p.m.? Sometimes. She throws a Cheez-It at me. I'm not lying, I protest. Well, stop eating dinner before the sun sets. You're 28 years old. Live a little. I am living a little. I can't. These guys are great. But I enjoyed watching people who were just kind of talking at the camera or had these kind of slice of life little vlogs, in part because, like, I was pretty lonely in college. I didn't have a whole lot of friends, and I remember, like, kind of mistakenly saying, oh, this YouTuber, and I'd said, like, oh, my friend, and then, like, clarified, oh, this YouTuber. And in a way, there's a certain parasocial, we are friends kind of thing going on, but in reality, people watch YouTube for a lot of different reasons, for the entertainment value, but also just because you have someone that you're kind of, you know, living with and reading with. And so for me, I just wanted to kind of read along with people and hang out on a very cold, kind of gloomy day here in Florida. So rarely are the days truly gloomy, but the sun is not out. I need coffee. I ordered groceries just before this after not having coffee or coffee creamer at home for however long, and this is like a donut shop blend of coffee from Aldi and then the sugar-free coffee creamer. I'm so jazzed to have coffee at home. I keep forgetting that I can just make coffee at home instead of having it at work. And don't get me wrong, I like having coffee at work, but I could just brew a cup of coffee whenever I want to, and I always forget that I just can. So my goal is to get through this book today, in part because it's the last day of January. I told myself I was going to read stuff off my TBR and then listen to audiobooks all month, which is fine. I'm not against that. But I started this book and then hadn't finished it, and I really want to spend more time with it. It is good. I'm enjoying it. It is a fun little road trip kind of rom-com book. I started at page 50. I am now at page 145. That was about 40 minutes of reading, so I'm going to keep on keeping on. And now I have coffee, which I'm so happy about. I think what's fun for me about this style of putting videos together is that I am off my phone, and I find my phone to be terribly distracting these days, because there is so much going on so frequently, and there is no lack of content on many, many platforms. And so I find myself not reading and instead consuming content. And I recognize that making content about consuming content and putting myself in a position where I'm not on my phone so that I can read is a little counterproductive for you, the viewer. But I enjoy making these sorts of videos and just kind of like making YouTube videos generally. It's just kind of enjoyable for me. Also, I have so many questions about like content creation and making YouTube videos. I have been consuming YouTube content for a very long time, and I still don't know quite where to acquire royalty-free music so that I can play music in the background of these videos instead of talking. Okay, we're on 157 of Second Chance Romance, and they just kissed at the border of Iowa and Nebraska. These people befuddle me. I promised myself when I started making bookish content, I wasn't going to buy a bunch of books, and then I bought a bunch of books all last year and read none of them. And while that's fine, and I'm not against buying books, I just need to rein in the volume of books that I buy, because I want to buy more books, more so than I want to read more books, and the goal, at least for me, is reading, not buying books to read. I get a lot of my books from the library and via the Libby app and things like that, but I just wanted to kind of rein in a little bit of the just endless, oh, I need a little treat, let me go buy a book. Oh, I need a little treat, let me go buy a book. Because I had replaced, like, going and getting a coffee with going and getting a book, which is better, objectively, in my mind, but I want to spend a little bit less on buying books and spend a little bit less time on buying books and more time just kind of reading and enjoying them. They've picked up a stray cat, which, why not? Why not pick up a stray cat on a road trip? That's a normal thing to do. This is a better and more realistic thing than the broccoli festival at Mrs. Natch's Ashes. Or the lover that they made a detour for, and here we go again. But listen, plot foils notwithstanding, this is very tame, but they've picked up a cat along the road trip. The cat ends up like inciting a bunch of silly nonsense that happens during the book, which is so funny to me. But I, as someone who has picked up strays and just kind of is in that sort of realm, I love a good stray cat situation. 10 of 10. So question for you all as I am putting this video together is, what do y'all want to see out of like bookish content? I'm kind of a younger millennial. I have a cat. I don't, so like I spend a lot of time like making content. I write blog posts, things like that, and mostly because I just kind of enjoy the video creation, but also I recognize that these kind of cozy vlogs and cozy podcast style stuff isn't for everyone. So if you do follow this YouTube channel, tell me what you want to see. Bless you. Are we done? Ignore her and her sneeziness. She's just kind of a snotty cat. So Sunflower is an only child cat who is the most spoiled animal in the world. She's very much just kind of has all of her toys, has all that she could possibly want, like fancy water fountains, whatever. But she is particularly snotty, and just every couple months just starts sneezing all over and over again. She goes to the vet, she gets antibiotics, and she continues to be sneezy. She's such a good cat, though. Like, of all of the cats that I have seen on the internet, she's very much a lap cat. As I'm recording the voiceover for this video, she's sitting on her cat tray taking a nap and just kind of hanging out. She spent the majority of this vlog just sitting on my lap, kind of hanging out. Doesn't do anything bad or mischievous. Oh, there's a time... Okay. The reason they're going back to Grandma's house is because there was a time capsule in her backyard from a road trip they took in high school. Okay. There was a reason. See, this is why I have a really hard time, like, I started reading 50 pages of this book, like, months ago, and by months ago, I mean a few weeks ago, and then I'd forgotten most of the exposition of the plot, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what's happening, as opposed to knowing what's going on. This tends to be why I end up reading books in, like, one full shot, rather than sitting and picking up a book, putting it back down, picking up a book, putting it back down. I tend to, if I'm reading a physical book, just sit and fully read it all the way through. And I don't always have 2 hours to fully do that. This was like a 330 page book. This obviously is like sped up footage, but raw, this was about 2 hours of reading for 330 pages. I read about as fast as Maya from Maya and Hunter, and I enjoy the fact that I read that quickly. They're recording a podcast episode together, which is appropriate. Great. I will say this, the one thing that I kind of hate in romance books is third act breakups, and you'll see why. 3, 2, 1. No, why are we third act breaking up for no reason? We were doing so good. The reason I hate a third act breakup so much is because I know that it's coming, and then inevitably I see the characters come back together, and I'm like, why did we have to do this? This doesn't help. Yeah, they've third act broken up, and the cat is going back to its original owner. I shouldn't be spoiling this book for you if you want to read it, but here we are. And the thing is, for me, is that a third act breakup will happen, and then I know that there's 60 pages left in the book. I know it's a romance novel. I know that there's going to be a happily ever after. So why add the third act breakup for no reason? Listen, if you are Brittany Morrissey, this book was great. I enjoyed this a lot. I personally don't like third act breakups for me and my reading experience. I'm not opposed to writing them generally. It's just not a personal preference of mine. Not that Brittany Morrissey is watching this or cares. She shouldn't care. Write your books, live your life. But I really enjoyed this book, and I really enjoyed spending the time with you. If you like content like this, which is just kind of cozy vlog, hanging out with my cat, reading, you should follow along, subscribe. And if you don't like stuff like this, that's also totally fine. I just wanted to experiment with a new type of content, and I enjoyed making this, so you'll probably see more of it. Okay, bye!